Good afternoon. Today we have an old pedometer. This is some sort of Disney pedometer. It's got this little shaky thing in it, and you can see it's totally dead. This came in a box of cereal years ago when they used to actually put stuff in cereal. We recently just did a whole cleanup around the house, and I happened to find it, and I said, oh yeah, look at that, it's dead. But if you notice here, it says that number 7, the battery is not replaceable or rechargeable. Well, I beg to differ. I really beg to differ. The battery is indeed replaceable, and on most things that says that the battery or light bulb or what have you is not replaceable, it is. It may be tricky, it may be hard to find, but indeed it's replaceable. So, let's void the warranty. The warranty's been up for years, but anyway. It's not replaceable because, if you notice, these are funny looking screws. They're not Phillips, they are tri-wing screws. And I said, that's how they make it not replaceable. And I said, wait a minute. I have a set of all kinds of oddball bits. And indeed I have a tri-wing bit, which I have in this screwdriver here, because it's just a normal hex, bit like that. So let's go ahead and take this apart. I'm going to have to set you down here. Let me see if I can give you a good idea. That should work. Just like that. Works just like any other screw, except it's triangular instead of like a Phillips or a flat. And if the camera wants to focus on it, that's what it looks like. So if you have the right bit, indeed you will find that when you go ahead and open this up, and this can be tricky, it's coming, there we go. Here's what we have inside. And as you can see, there's a battery right there. So, that's easy enough. I'll take a very small Phillips, which I have right here. Okay. And there's a screw here. Well, actually we can remove this whole thing and put that aside and just work on it like this. Very tiny screw. So get your magnifiers or whatever you need. There's the screw. Real tiny. It even almost blends in with the tablecloth. And you can just take that and bend it out, and hopefully we can just push the battery out through the thing here. This hole is not quite big enough, but it looks like we have extracted the battery, which is right here. So this cell is indeed dead. What does that say? LR 112, 113, I can't read it through the camera, or LR 1130. There it is. But as you can see, the battery is indeed replaceable. Now I don't have that battery, nor am I going to go and get it. This was really just for the video. You can see the little thing here that moves and it makes contact with the thing. And this here is a spring that pushes it back away. So let's go ahead and reinstall the battery. It went in like this. And see if we can get this tiny, tiny screw back. There we are. Now this went back in the case. It went with the button like that, and it just sort of fit in. Something like that, so the button will hit on the button in it. By the way, the belt clip here is removable as well, and that has a screw, which is also a tri-wing. But we can go ahead and snap it back together. The button presses. Oops. Looks like I have to magnetize this bit. But anyway, there you are, back together, and obviously if I put a new cell in there it would have worked. I'm not going to whip out the meter for something that's been sitting around for 5 or more years that the battery's been dead in. It's obviously dead. So I'm going to just tuck the little instruction packet here back in the belt clip and leave it in case one day I happen to come across that battery. Bit said, by the way, I don't even remember where I picked it up, but it's got all kinds of oddball stuff like this one here, if I can get it there. I really don't know what you really do with that, except maybe to drive a wing nut or something like that. They call it a Y-style bit. And they give you a whole bunch of like useless stuff that you already have, you know, just number 2 and 3 Phillips and stuff. A whole bunch of different flats. There's some hex ones, some Allen ones, some Torx security ones. Over here they have, there's a little legend on it here, like that has a little triangle thing. This is a 4, I think it's called a star. These are for other screws that have just the little 2 thingamabobbers on them. And there's some other oddball ones here as well. Some weird roundy ones like this here. I've never really actually seen any type of fastener that takes that. But it's in here in case I ever come across it. And that's that. So while it may be difficult to replace or hard to get, non-replaceable items are indeed replaceable. Case in point, this thing. This here, which you've seen in the videos, or at least if you've been watching them, which you should be, we'll show you, and obviously don't look like much here, but it produces this wavy-ish pattern on the floor. I'll shut the lights over here just so you can see it better. See that wavy, the wavy lines, and they're all different colors, and it's hard to tell because of all the other lights now. I had this way back when, but this actually takes, well, first I should say that this bulb had burned out at the most inopportune time. It was right before a Halloween party I had years ago, and it burned out just in time to get me angry. You can actually see some of the goodies inside there as well. But you'll notice there's a whole bunch of screws on it, and I found that it took a bulb like this. This is, I think, a 50-watt halogen in like a reflector. I can't even read those markings with the light in here. Yeah, it says 50 watt. So anyway, it took a bulb like that, but I happened to, and I don't know where they are at the time, or let's try that again. I happen to have the instructions at the time. I don't know where they are now. That's what I wanted to say. But regardless, it said that that was absolutely indeed not replaceable. Indeed it was. All they had after you got it open was 2 little spring clips that went over the sides of the reflector, and that was that. Corona thing at the bar also burned out. I've had that for many years. That also takes a reflector, but this one is much smaller. I don't know the wattage on it. I did have to go and buy these. The other ones I just happen to have on hand because you never know. But anyway, I had to replace the bulb in that. This, I don't remember if I had the instructions, if it said it was replaceable or not. But anyway, while you may void the warranty, non-replaceable parts may very well indeed be replaceable.